Welcome back to Great Day St. Louis. The Federal Reserve will be concluding a very important two-day policy meeting a little later today. And here with a preview is CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger. Jill, good morning. What is the Fed expected to do today?
A whole lot of nothing.
Yeah.
We're expecting that the Fed funds rate will remain at 3.5% to 3.75%. That's where rates have been since December. One small change we could see, and it is in that statement that comes with the decision. And the reason that we might see a change is that we know inflation has accelerated to a 3-year high of 4.2%. And that means that the central bankers could shift the language a little bit. They usually say, hey, we're leaning towards cutting or raising rates. But in this one, we think they're going to say, we're shifting from our previous meeting where we were leaning towards cutting interest rates. Now we're neutral. So that's the small change that is expected. Otherwise, rates stay where they are.
So I think that's probably good for savers, correct me if I'm wrong, but what about those who carry credit card balances?
Yeah, very good for savers. There are still really good rates out there for high yield savings accounts. I really encourage folks to check that out. But I really want to focus on those credit card balances, which have ballooned up to $1.25 trillion, according to the New York Federal Reserve Bank. And maybe that number seems out of reach, but this one will catch your attention. It caught mine. The average interest rate on the credit card balances out there, the average is 21%. Oof. So I know that I know it's rough. So if you have a job, you might be able to keep up, but it's getting harder, right, as prices rise. We know that 13% of the folks who are carrying those balances, they're at least 90 days delinquent. That is a sign that we are seeing people fall behind. That 13% number of the ones who are delinquent, it's the highest level since 2011. That is when we were recovering from the financial crisis and the Great Recession. So again, I don't think that the world's on fire right now, but I think we keep our eye on those folks who are having a hard time.
Yeah. Well, this is the first meeting for President Trump's nominee, Kevin Marsh, as Fed chair. Are there any changes expected from his tenure?
You know, Warsh has been saying, we need shorter statements. I don't want people out there lecturing. I think the most interesting thing that could happen today is that it will be his first press conference. And, you know, he's speaking to a lot of people. He is speaking to wonky people like me who are in the press corps who cover him. He's speaking to the American people. And he's also speaking to his boss. That would be Donald Trump. So it's going to be an interesting balancing act for him.
Yes, it is. All right, Jill, thank you so much. We appreciate it as always. You can see Jill regularly on CBS Mornings and the CBS Evening News or courtside at a Knicks game. For more analysis, go to JillOnMoney.com.